Lady Lily back with another video, and today's video is a sorority tag. Yes, I have been asked to do a video that talked a little more about my sorority experience, because I do mention it from time to time, as well as share my experience, because I went through my process graduate chapter. So I figured it would be fitting to do the sorority tag. And I'm just going to put this out. I'm coming from the perspective of the graduate chapter, because I obtained membership through the graduate chapter. I was not afforded membership as an undergraduate, even though I did want to pursue it as an undergrad. I'm going to speak from the perspective of what I know, and that's the graduate chapter experience. So it's a few questions. I did cut some questions out because it did not, it was not fitting for my status in terms of being a graduate member. So those questions that I felt irrelevant, I left them out. So the first question is, what is the name of your sorority? Of course, I am a proud 11, soon to be 11-year member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which was founded on January 15th, 1908 on the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C. I joined through graduate chapter Nu Omicron Omega, which is located in Springfield, Illinois, on March 5th, 2006. And I will make 11 years in the sorority in March. Question number 2. What is your sorority hand sign? So there's two signs that we do. Well, everybody knows the one, which is the pinky. That's the one you always see us in the pictures. And the next one is the ivy. So that's another hand sign that you will see us do, taking pictures and being out. So those are the hand signs. Number 3, what is your sorority call? Our sorority call is Ski. That is our sorority call. Number 4, did you always want to be in a sorority? Yes, I always wanted to be an AKA. I knew I wanted to be an AKA as early as 6th grade. I had quite a bit of few teachers who were members throughout my education process. And I also just fell in love with AKA, as I would see them in the background watching different worlds. So I was just always fascinated with them. And that I, came across some phenomenal women who helped me along my journey that were members of Alpha Kappa Alpha. So yes, I always wanted to be in a sorority as early as 6th grade. What was recruitment like for you? Okay, so my first attempt into the sorority membership was at the undergraduate level. So I made 2 attempts at the undergraduate level. First time, I'm going to be honest, the first time I did not get accepted because I was 1 point off in terms of the GPA. You needed a minimum of a 2.5, and I had a 2.48. While I was in undergrad, I took a really hard math class, and I ended up failing the course. I did retake the class and got a B, but I took it at another school over the summer. And because I went ahead and took it at another school, it didn't affect it had no effect on my GPA improving because I took it elsewhere. Even though I got a higher grade, your GPA for your school only counts for the classes that you take. So with that in mind, my GPA, because I got that F killed my GPA tremendously and brought me down. So I ended up with 2.48. So what happened was I went ahead and still applied, hoping, praying, wishing that I would get accepted, and I was not accepted due to not meeting the criteria of the GPA requirement. So that was the first attempt. The second attempt came back, was better than ever. I had a higher GPA. I had bust my butt. I was on a bunch of different leadership positions and had volunteer experience. So I was like, this time I got it right. Yes, I'm going to make it. I'm going to get in. And no, I was not. I was denied membership the second time. There were really no reasons this time. That there was really no valid reason that I was not accepted for membership. I just was not accepted. At least I knew last time I had a reason, but this time it was just like no reason. But I always say God works in mysterious ways, because I got turned down from that. I was elected as the vice president of the Black Student Association, which was like the Black student government. And I ended up also getting an internship working with the vice president of student affairs at the university. God works in mysterious ways, because over the summer, the president decided not to return to school. So I end up being appointed the president of the Black Student Association. So now they turned down the person who's the president of the Black Student Association. So my mentor and my sponsor, at the time, I was she was my supervisor. I was working for her, and she was part of the graduate chapter in Springfield, Illinois. So she introduced me, started bringing me around women in her chapter, and I went to some of their events to see what they did, and I ended up going to school, staying in my school, and going through graduate chapter, and it ended up working out for me to become a member that way. So. Got into the graduate chapter. It was myself and 10 other girls. It was 11 of us total. So yeah, we all had, a similar story where quite a few made attempts at the undergraduate level, but wasn't successful. And we even had older adult women that was on our line. So yeah, we made it happen despite of. Next question. Let's see here. What is your favorite sorority related memory? I have a lot of memories, but I think the ones that stand out the most will be the day I got pinned and took my vow and became a member. It was a very touching moment. My line sisters and I, we were just, filled with emotions. A lot of us, there was tears shedding, because this has been, a dream for a lot of us for quite some time. And just to be in that moment when they say you are, officially members, that's by far one of the moments I would never forget. And then the second moment would be, I always wanted to step, and I felt like coming to a grad chapter, I probably would never get that opportunity to step and be in a step show, but that was afforded to me several years after membership. And I got to be on the step team, and it was a lot of work. It was long nights and weekends, and it was a lot of work involved, but we pulled it together and we won first place. So that was a great moment, because I felt like, okay, now this is something else I wanted to do. And it felt like I had arrived, and it came full circle. It's like, I want that step experience. So it's just like me being a graduate member, trying to get some of those aspects of, undergrad. So that was great. And then I think the second year I went on, I did step again, and the team got second place. And I haven't been back on the step team since, just because of commitments. And yeah, so those were my favorite sorority memories. Another question: what is your favorite gift from your big, or I guess your pledge sisters or deans or whatever? I enjoy all my gifts. Anytime people thought enough to just buy me something or think about me, I appreciate it, whether it's big or small. And people was just so gracious from the time I became a member to now. I mean, I still get stuff. I mean, people still say, oh, I saw this, I picked this up for you. Or this is pink and green, I picked this up for you. So I appreciate any and every gift I ever get from anybody in terms of related to my sorority. Next question: is sisterhood a real thing? It is a real thing. I do not have sisters biologically. I got two brothers, but I tell you this: these women in my sorority, and just sister Greeks in general, when I say sister Greeks, I'm talking about, women in other sororities, there is a bond there. There is a true sisterhood. I'm telling you, I have called upon these women. They have showed up for my time of need. I have, people have called on me, and I showed up and been there for them in the clutch. And we have a saying, we help each other. That is so true. It doesn't matter where you go. It's like there's an AKA everywhere, and they're ready and they're willing to help and assist you, make connections. And I just love the embracing. And yes, the sisterhood is real thing. I got people right now that I love them like sisters. I just truly do. And they have been there for me, I'm telling you, and been there. I have been there for them, and we just, brighten each other and encourage each other and push each other to do better and live better. And yeah, the sisterhood is real. It's a beautiful thing. What is the time commitment like for your chapter? That's the question. I say your commitments are based upon your availability. We have chapter meeting once a month, the second Sunday of the month, and we also have 501c foundation. So we have the chapter with the foundation on the same day. I think the amount of time you put into it is totally up to you. I am, on the nominated committee. I'm on the scholarship committee. I am on the sisterly relations committee, and that's it. Sisterly relations, sisterly relations and nominating committee and scholarship. So that's 3. That's enough. We have some sorority members that are on 10 committees. We have some sorority, and that's, the committee meetings are outside of the chapter meetings, so you have to make time to do that. My advice for people, do what works for your schedule. Don't overcommit yourself. I would say do what works for your schedule. There are some people that can be on everything, do everything. There's some people that only can do a little, and then there's some people that's in the middle. I feel like I am in the middle, and I really feel, I can do more if I want to, but I'm just pulling back because now I am also part of the National Pan-Hellenic Council, which is also it's the governing body of the Divine Nine fraternities and sororities, African American fraternities and sororities. So since I have involvement with that, I have meetings tied to that. I pulled back a little bit from my chapters, from some chapter obligations, so I won't be so overwhelmed. And I think, as I, eventually become married and have kids, that commitment's going to shift. But I see women out there all the time. They are, doing it. They got the family life, they got their work life, and they have their sorority life, and they make it do what it do. So I would say your time commitment is based upon your availability and what you wish to do. So I'm just getting my notes here. The next question: what were you most surprised about your sorority? I think when you're on the outside looking in, it seems so glamorous and it seems so much fun, and you see all the good stuff. And not saying there's bad things, but I guess what the public a lot of time doesn't see the work behind of it. The long meeting hours. Sometimes we, bicker and we have disagreements, but it's good disagreements. You just some of the behind the scenes stuff that you don't realize and don't get to see until you become a member. I think that was surprising. What I have learned as a member, and this is any sorority, this is not just my sorority, this is any sorority, and especially just dealing with women in general, you can agree to disagree. So I think I have learned that aspect along these years. Sometimes you can agree to disagree. Everybody's not going to look at things the way you do. You have to respect the differences, respect, people's abilities. And so that's, I think, the behind the scenes stuff. And talking to other people that belong to other organizations, they go through the same thing. So it's not nothing specific to one group. I have a friend that's a Delta. She said they, be bigger than. I got a friend that's a Zeta. I got a friend that's a Sigma Gamma Rho. We all have the same similar struggles, and when we're trying to come together for the good. How many items of clothes you have? So I'm assuming that means how many items of Greek clothes I have on the average. Shirt-wise, paraphernalia, all together, I might say, if I'm looking at shirt-wise, I might have maybe 20 pieces, 20 to 25. I don't necessarily mean I wear them. Some of them are old. Probably some of them need to be properly discarded. But I'm going to say on the average, and I haven't physically counted them, but I'll say about 20 to 25 pieces to be safe. What is the best part of being in a sorority. Just the network of just the network of people. I know some people say, well, I don't need to be in a sorority or a fraternity to network with people, and that's great, but it's just amazing. It's just amazing. Sorry, I got a call coming through. I'm doing this from my phone. It's just amazing of the net, the sisterhood, the bond, the tithing. I mean, being tied. I went to my first boule this past summer in Atlanta, and it was just, I mean, fellowshipping with sorors across the world, not just the country, but the world. We got sorors in Dubai. We got sorors in South Africa. We have sorors that are in South Korea and Europe, and we got sorors in the Bermuda, the Bahamas. We have sorors everywhere, and it's just nice to see different sorors from different regions. And I feel like it's different perspectives, different attitudes. I always say the sorors in the South are so polite, so kind, so yes. I was talking to one of the sorors. She was from one of the chapters in the South. She is a golden soror, so she has 50 plus years in the sorority. And I just, she was just a pleasure. Complete stranger. We was just walking, getting on the shuttle bus. And she was asking me, was I married? Did I have kids yet? And she was always saying, no matter what you do, yes, you need to come together for the good of the sorority and do your work, but never forget about your family. Keep your family first. Keep your focus on God. And, do the best you can in terms of the sorority work. But she said, always keep your family first. So I just thought that was just like the coolest thing. This is not a question, but I know some people ask about grad chapter. Is it all business? Do you have a little bit of fun? And you can have fun. Grad chapter is what you make. It depends on your chapter, and it depends on you as a person. I stroll. I've been on step teams. I go to parties. I go to Greek events. It's not maybe on a level as the undergrad, like road tripping and doing all that good stuff. But I made the most of the experience. And I think and I see that, with new members coming in, especially at the graduate level, they try to make the most of the experience. No, you can't go back and relive the undergrad days, because if you're working a 9 to 5 job and you maintain a family, it's kind of hard unless you're single and can't afford that time to do it. But you can make the most of your graduate experience. You can have the stroll aspect. You can have the step aspect, if you belong to a chapter that likes to stroll and step. But I belong to a stroll team, and it's mixed of members from different chapters in the city. And we get together, we compete with other grad chapters, doing the picnics and stuff. And we have practice and we bond. And so yeah, you can have a decent graduate experience. Everybody's experience will be different, similar but different. But it's what you make the most of it. So that is it. I'm rocking my jacket, by the way. So rocking one of my what they call line jackets. So yeah. This is a jacket I probably will wear in the springtime, going out to do community service. I do have a blazer that I will wear for more formal stuff like business, or, when we have our Greek ecumenical church service, that type of stuff. But yeah, that is it. That is all. To the person who wanted to know more information, or just to all the people, I hope I answered your questions fair. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, thank you for your continuous support. Have a good evening.